stores. There is a distinct confusion here between the needs of friendship and brotherhood and the needs of hygiene, and most important, the needs of spirituality. You know, Babuji would never use a towel or a dhoti which had been used by anybody else. He would not sleep on anybody's bed. But there was one time in my house when he came without his own clothes, and when he went to the bathroom and he took my towel. I said, Babuji, it's dirty. He said, your towel can never be dirty. Can we attain that state? Are we trying for it? He's just merely sending it to a high-class laundry, a $6 shirt for a $15 wash. Cleanly ironed, spick and span, collar stiff. You wear it and say, chief executive gets into his car to drive off and he is happy, you see. Yes, it's hygienic, you know, it's washed in ETA Plus. Who knows what ETA Plus is? Because the laundry says the clothes are here washed with ETA Plus. In another, it is Zeta Plus. In another, it is Novel Alpha Plus. Whatever. This is modern hygiene, modern sense of well-being. The more expensive the suit, the better I am dressed. Though in color, in texture, it's all the same. Armani suit, $7,500, you know, and a British low-end suit costing, I don't know, today it's £100 at least. When I was in England on my first visit, in Burton's, you could buy a nice jacket for £7. The sheep are the same, the wool is the same, everything is the same. Where goes all this money that is now growing? That £7 jacket is today costing £250. You know, I walked into Scotch House about 4 years back. And the first jacket I chose was the one I wanted, and it fit me. Unthinkingly, I said I will take it. When I went to sign the bill, it was £475, just a jacket, tweed jacket. I have this habit, you know, of not asking the price, very much ego. That I suppose is my astrological background of being born a Leo. Every time I take up a Leo, you know, these prophecies, what do they call them? Predictions, annual. Leos are arrogant, proud, selfish. I read it, and for a moment I am chastened. But put me in a shop and it all comes out. Fortunately, only there, I hope. We have to get rid of all this, you see. When Babuji says, use the resources of nature sparingly. Wool is a resource of nature. Cotton is a resource of nature. Paper is a resource of nature. I have already spoken sufficiently, carpingly about tissues. How they have affected our behavior, even with women in the Western society, you don't have to imagine. They are also to be used and thrown away. You know, I beg to be excused for referring to this very unsavory topic in lecture after lecture, but it is the truth. Entice, use, destroy. So we have to start with the individual. You cannot transform a society. Sahaj Marg never claims to transform societies. Least of all the world, least of all the universe. I know we have Abhyasis who boast about Sahaj Marg, you know, and they say with a blink of the eye, my master can transform the whole universe. It's not correct. No master could, no master can, no master ever will, unless it is by destruction. Once Babuji offered to give me the highest power ever bestowed on man, matching very nearly the powers that he had. I said, no, please don't. He was amazed. He said, why? Why do you refuse? I said, Babuji, you are a man of patience. You love humanity. You love the world. You love all life. I am not created like you. See. And forgive me for saying it. You have not made me, in this respect, at least like yourself. Because if you give me such power, I will transform this world by destroying it and recreating it. 1 minute's job. I am not going to sit here for 56 years like you, puffing away at your hookah and wondering what to do next, and appealing to Lalaji Maharaj every 3rd minute. Lalaji, Sahib, what shall I do? I mean no disrespect, but that is the temperament. And I still find it very irksome to keep abhyasis in my presence who have no respect for humanity, no regard for life, no regard for their guru, no obedience. They are there just for the fun and pleasure of going home and saying, I was with him for 6 days and always in his presence. I had breakfast with him every morning, lunch with him, only dinner sometimes he used to send me away. I know this, but what to do? I have to say, Father, forgive me for not having more tolerance, more love. But please bestow these things on me, because what I lack, I cannot create for myself in myself. So you see, my guru has to work on me, I have to work on you all, and in your time, you have to work on others, they have to work on the next generation, and so on. It must go. If it goes successfully, it will last into the future. If it does not, there ends Sahaj Marg. One chop of the guillotine. No, like that poor French princess who lost her life because she said, give them cakes when they had no bread. Marie Antoinette. So Sahaj Marg, its future depends on every one of us, our abhyasis, very much like the future of the world itself depends on every one of us. Every person who can cooperate with the Master and change himself or herself will contribute to change in the world, not otherwise. In fact, I would say Sahaj Marg and what it is and what it will be is a reflection of the universe and what it will be in the future. If this goes ahead, marching solemnly forward with confidence, hope and faith, the world too will march with the same confidence, hope and faith. If this is going and stumbling with despair, the world will stumble with despair. If this is stopped, that will stop. This is one aspect of the parallelism of nature which Clark wanted me to speak about the other day, but which I cannot expatiate upon today. That is why I have these two young fellows sitting near me. They have big roles to play in the future with this mission and with themselves. It's not for nothing I am exposing them to you today. Saying he is my successor is only a mere, shall we say, verbal outpouring. He is my son is a similar thing. Until they are true to the respective roles that they have to play, both within themselves, for themselves, by themselves, and with the mission, for the mission, by the mission, for all humanity. And in this, none of you is excepted. That you are not here does not mean you are an exception. You all share the same responsibilities. If you want to share the success that will come into Sahaj Marg by way of achieving this transformation, devoutly to be wished. If not, we shall share the fate of all common human beings and go into non-existence, unheard, unsought, unwept.
For me, I have observed in myself also that when I am near you, the world is a different place, because your sun is shining upon me and everything shines along with it. The reality also is that you have lit this lamp within me and it is glowing, hopefully. But there seems to be a membrane which is between this inner brightness and the outer brightness, which is what really is the limiting factor. Is this samskara, is this ego, is this attitude?
This membrane is present in all. It is plain and simple, it is the ego. Because we go on cleaning and samskaras are getting cleaned off. But this ego makes us create more samskaras. So the cleaning becomes like the cleaning of the audience stables, for instance. Never clean, always being cleaned. So ego has to go before progress can be more rapid, more sure, and advancing us towards the goal. It is the same with all human beings.
It's the same thing between two human beings also.
Yes, but the ego is what governs interpersonal relationship. I am better, he is a fool, this sort of thing, I am richer, Armani suit. I will give you the example, going in a limo. Yesterday, somebody made a very disparaging remark about a limo. We were talking about the Continental town car, and he said it is now used only for limos. I thought limo was the be-all and end-all, the summum bonum of cars. But this man, just waved it away and said, oh, only fit for limos. So you see, limos are constructed out of graveyard cars, I think. Cut into two, pasted together. What, Mr. Santosh? You are the man who remarked, So I'm amused when I hear such things. So this membrane, the spider's web has been found by science to have the toughest fiber. That you can break it is not an indication of its strength. That is because it's so thin. Santosh, have you heard that? Toughest fiber is used by this spider in spinning its web, and it comes out of itself. And it is meant for trapping other animals to be killed and eaten. We have also a similar tough fiber coming out of us, you see. And we have our own webs of deceit, of lies, of egoistic tendencies, of cheating, all of which is dealt with by the Christian 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not do this, So all this applies, in my mind, to the spider's web which each one of us evolves from within himself. We lay traps all the time for poor animals in jungles which can't recognize a trap. We lay traps for people who are our betters, how to cut the earth beneath their feet. In warfare, we lay traps. In love triangles, they have traps. Where are there no traps? The human being survives with two: enticement, entrapment, and destruction. You see, first enticement, all the positive signals. Then entrapment. Then, so how are we different? Animals are straightforward, A deer is running, the lioness is waiting, three of them run, chatak, chatak, chatak. It's an open, free for all. No disguise, and no what shall we say, dishonesty. The deer knows why it is being followed, not for a loving kiss. And the lioness knows why she is following, to gobble up. In human beings, there is this perversion of the principle of invertendo, where the good is exchanged for the bad. So we receive the good and give back the bad. Very often. from the world, from human beings, from the animal kingdom, from the vegetable kingdom, everywhere. And I think it is in the Bhagavata Purana where there is a famous statement by Lord Krishna that man exists on things which are given to him by birds, beasts, and vegetable kingdom. Water is given to you by rain and the river. Vegetables you take from plant leaf, flowers, fruit. And what do you give back? Not even a thanks, you know. You don't say thank you, cow, after milking it. You give it an injection to make it yield more liters. You know, I'm told they, in Japan or wherever it is, they feed animals with chopped up meat, mashed meat. What do you call it? I don't know. Offal from the abattoirs to make them fatter. So meat fed to a cow which is a vegetarian animal, for that meat to be eaten. Once one of the directors of an English firm we were associated with was traveling with me by car. We stopped at a village, he wanted to look at something. And you know, in villages they have no toilets. The street side was used as a toilet. He stepped on some human excreta. And he said, oh God, you know, he was upset to the extreme. And he said, I just bought these shoes for 200 pounds or something like that. And he said, I'll have to throw them away. I said, but you could just wash them. We do it all the time. And he said, oh, you live in a land which is nothing but this. I said, yet you come to visit it. With two cameras, one black and white, one color. Paying large amounts of money for guides, for hotels. He had no answer. And in villages, you know, they use the dung of cows to make even into something like a papad with straw in it, dried in the sun for fuel. And it cooks food as well as your butane gas from cylinders in Europe and America without any lethal qualities associated with it, stored safely. If perchance it should catch fire, there's no danger. Whereas if your butane gas cylinder in some of these rich homes where the cylinder is half the size of this stage should burst or catch fire, God help that family. So we are able to generate energy using the products of nature itself so far successfully. Whereas, you know, I was in Germany and one preceptor was driving the car, we were going together, and there was the smell of cow dung. I said, how come this smell is here? He said, oh, they're spraying. I said, spraying? So German technology has removed the smell offensive to human nature, human noses, by dissolving the cow dung in huge vats and spraying it. But the smell goes with the cow dung into the water, and with the spray it is let out into nature where it belongs. Poor fellow, he couldn't answer my question. Even in Germany, you see, first we seek to overcome it, then we hide it. No, in Germany we have no cow dung smells, Chariji. Yes, but this, oh, it's being sprayed. Simple answer, only an Indian can't understand it. So you see, membrane. The membrane that this is a clean country, so everything must be clean, even if it appears dirty. I gave you the example of an American household where they put their filthy sneakers into the wash with their clothes. And they said, sneakers in the wash? They said, but the machine cleans everything, Chariji. So I thought in an emergency, if the toilet was occupied, you could very well sit on the washing machine and have it cleaned. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but these are the facts of life. I have garnered them from my travels all over, And it is